Good day, grade 11s. You are required to complete the following theory activities based on the schedule, and then you will need to complete 10.15, the rest of the activity, but I will be working through that activity with you, and then you need to complete 10.16 on your own. All right, so let's start off with 10.15. Maggie's debtors collection schedule and cash budget. What is a debtors collection schedule? Based on my last video, it is how the business will collect the money from their debtors. All right, they basically estimate based on past experience of how debtors have paid them. They have a sequence that has been put in place. All right, then draw up a cash budget for Maggie. Maggie's for the period of the 1st of January to the 28th of February. So this is your budget period. You want to know the estimated incomes and payments for those 2 months. It's important to read your information. And we have opening balances, accrued expenses, expenses that obviously have not yet been paid, expenses payable, in other words. Then we have rent prepaid. They're saying that we have paid our rent in advance. All right. And then they have bank, an opening balance of 13,900, and it is in the debit. Remember, bank is an assets, and assets increase on your debit side. So that is telling us that we have a favorable bank balance. Moving along to the actual and budgeted information, they gave us October all the way to February. Actual means what actually took place. It has happened. All right. The budgeted is what they expect will happen. All right. Moving along, there is information that you will, however, have to fill in. You will see that for October, we have cash sales worth 12,300 and credit sales worth 5,400. If you add that up, you should get a total sales of 17,700 rand. The very same for November. If you add those two up, your total sales should be in 21,980 rand. But as you can see, for December all the way to February, they've given us the total sales. And in this bracket over here, they told us that sales, credit sales is 30% of our total sales. Okay, so immediately you can put your 30% there just to make sure that you don't miss that. And the difference obviously will be your 70%. Okay, so let us work out our credit sales. All right, so our total sales for December was 40,000, and we need to work out our credit sales. 40,000 times 30% is 12,000. So for December, we sold goods on credit worth 12,000. And obviously our difference will be our cash sales. Minus 12,000, that will be 28,000 in our cash sales, 28,000. 30% of 10,000 would be 3,000, and the difference will be our cash sales. 12,000 times 30%, which is our credit sales, 3,600, was sold on credit in February, and our difference will be the cash minus 3,600. So we sold cash sales 8,400. 8,400. So now that that information is there, we can move along to work out our debtors collection schedule. Remember, debtors collection is the amount of money that you will be collecting from your debtors within the particular months. So we have additional information, and number 1 says a discount of 5% will be allowed to debtors who pay their accounts in the month following the sale. So now the month following the sale means 1 month later. So let me make this clear. So if I take on credit in the month of, we are now in July, if I take on credit in July and they say that 50% pay in the month following the sale, I won't be receiving my money in July. I will be receiving my money from my debtors 1 month later. 1 month following the sale, which would be August. All right. So that's when I will be receiving my first batch of money from debtors. So let's have a look at our actual budget period. In October, we had credit sales worth, I just want to make one thing clear to you. When you are focusing on your debtors collection schedule, all you are interested in is your credit sales that we have over here. The rest for now will be there, but your focus is your credit sales. Remember, when you sell on credit, you gain a debtor. And we are wanting to work out how are we going to be collecting money from our debtors who we sold to on credit. So moving along, 50% pay in the same month, okay? So 50% will pay 1 month later after the transaction has taken place, not forgetting the 5% discount. Why is that? We are rewarding our debtors for paying promptly. So that's a reward, an incentive. And this will encourage your debtors to pay sooner rather than later. Then they say 30% will be paying you money in the second month following the sale. So 30% will pay you 2 months later. Okay. 15% will pay you 3 months later. And then we have bad debts, but bad debts is not really considered in the debtors collection schedule. All right, so all we are interested is this information over here. So let us go to our debtors collection schedule. So here we have, and you can see that they have placed the information, the total sales. And remember, cash sales was 70% of total sales, and our credit sales was the 30%. Again, I'm bringing to your attention that I am only interested in my credit sales for this schedule. So now I'm looking at October. In October, my credit sales was 5,400 Rand. And remember, our debtors are expected to settle their accounts with us in these following terms. So 50% of our debtors will pay their debt 1 month later. So if they took on credit in October, they will only pay me 1 month later, which would be in November. That is not my budget period, so I move on to the next step. 30% will pay in the second month after the transaction. So remember, your transaction month was October. November is 1 month later. December is 2 months later. Is that in your budget period? No, it is not. So we move along. 15% will pay in the third month following the sale. Again, the sale happened in October. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Is this my budget period? Yes, it is. So I can work that out. So 5,400 multiply the 15% will show me how much money I will be receiving from the October credit sale in the month of January. Okay. Anything after the third month is treated as irrecoverable, so there will be no entry in February. Now we're moving on to the November credit sale. The November credit sales was worth 6,400 Rand. Remember, our debtors are expected to pay and settle the accounts as follows. 50% will pay the month following the sale. So if the sale took place in November, which is over here, 50% will pay 1 month later. Is that my budget period? No, it is not. So I move on to the next expectation. 30% will pay us in the second month following the sale. So the second month after November would be your January month. All right. And they're saying that 30% will pay us in January. So I'm going to say 6,480 multiply the 30%, which will give me a value of 1,944 Rand that I will be receiving from my debtors in January from the credit sale that took place in November. Are we done with this? No, I am not. So I still will be receiving 15% in the third month, which obviously would have been February. Again, taking you back, the transaction took place in November. 1 month later is November. 2 months later is January. 3 months later would be February. Does this fall in your budget period? Yes, it does. So 15% will be paying you 3 months later. I'm going to take the credit sale of November and I'm going to multiply it by the 15% in order to get a value of 972 Rand that will be received from our debtors in the month of February from the November credit sale. We are done with that transaction. I'm now moving on to December. Okay, so our December sale was worth 12,000 Rand. Okay, credit sale was worth 12,000 Rand. Going back to our debtors collection schedule. They're saying that 50% in the month following the sale. It is expected that debtors will settle their accounts as follows. 50% in the month following the sale. So yes, the credit sale took place in November. I expect 50% to pay me 1 month later. And those 50% will receive a 5% discount. All right, so how do we do this? What is my credit sale worth? It is worth 12,000 Rand. I'm going to multiply it by 50% in order to figure out, okay, how much will be paying me in the month of January, 1 month later. And that will be 6,000 Rand. Don't forget, we have to subtract the 5% discount that we are giving to our debtors. And that is going to be 6,000 times 5% is 300 Rand. So I'm subtracting 300 Rand. How much will I be receiving from my debtors? 1 month later, the 5,700. All right, remember 6,000 minus the 300 gave us 5,700, which is what we have just received in that month. 1 month later, 50%, subtract the 5% discount. All right, so now we are moving along. Are we done yet? No, I'm not. My budget period is still in, and I can still calculate. Remember, our credit sale took place in December. It was worth 12,000 Rand. 1 month later, 50% minus 5% discount. And then 2 months later, I will be receiving the 30%. All right. So I'm going to take 12,000 and I'm going to multiply it by the 30% and you will get the 3,600. All right. So now I am in January. And what is my January credit sales? My January credit sales is 3,000 Rand. My expectation of how my debtors will pay the business is 50% in the month following the sale. So if the 3,000 credit sale took place in January, how much will I be receiving? Will I be receiving anything in January? No, I will not. I will only start expecting payment 1 month later. All right, and that is obviously the 50%. So the very same calculation that we had with the previous one will take place now, except it will be with the 3,000. 3,000 times 50% is 1,500 Rand. 1,500, let's work out what 5% is worth of 1,500. It's 75 Rand and I need to subtract 75 Rand because that's the discount I allowed. How much will I be receiving in February? 1 month later, 1,425 Rand. Okay, grade 11s. Now we have completed our debtors collection period. What am I going to do? I'm going to calculate the cash that I will expect to receive from my debtors for the month of January. 810 Rand, 1,944 Rand, 5,700 Rand will equal 8,454. I'll do the very same thing for February. 972 Rand plus 3,600 plus 1,425 will give me a value of 5,997 Rand. All right, we have now just completed 10.15.1 and now we can move forward onto our cash budget for the period the 1st of Jan to the 28th of February. Remember, your cash budget is only interested in the cash that the business will be receiving and the cash that the business will be paying for which months? January and February. All right, so yes, we have receipts. We have money coming in from cash sales. How did we work that out? They have given us total sales, remember, and we worked out the cash sales, which was 70%. We are only interested in our budgeted period, January and February, and we literally took the 7,000 and the 8,400 and we jotted it down in the respective column and line. Then we also received cash from our debtors. We're expecting to receive cash from our debtors and we work that out from our debtors collection schedule. How much cash will we be receiving from our debtors in January? 8,454 and I place it in January. How much will I be receiving from my debtors in February? 5,997 and I place it in the February column. Now let's go and have a look at the additional information. They are saying I'm looking for all the receipts, all the incomes. There are no incomes in this information B, so I'm moving on to C. We have taken 1 and 2 into account now. We have 3, 4 and 5 to go through. Suppliers allow 30 days credit. Remember, suppliers, they told us that we've purchased our stock on credit and our suppliers are allowing us to pay our debt off 1 month later, 30 days credit. All right. General expenses and rent are normally paid in the month in which they occur. This was not the case at the end of December. We'll look into that once we get to that particular account. I am looking for incomes. Maggie has an overdraft facility with the bank. Remember, an overdraft facility needs to be negotiated with your bank. It's basically if you run out of money, you will go into a negative and you will then have to pay the financial institution. It is a loan that is negotiated with the bank. Right, number 6, a loan of 20,000 will be negotiated with a finance company. The proceeds will be received during February. Loan repayments together with interest will commence in March 20.8. So remember, we have now asked the bank for a 20,000 Rand loan. They told us that this loan will be paid out in February, and it's obviously going to be paid out into our bank account. So we are expecting an income from our bank. All right. And as you can see, here's loan, and there's the 20,000 Rand that will be deposited into our bank account from the financial institution in February. And that, grade 11s, is all the receipts for the budgeted period. So what we're going to do is we're going to tally up the months. Total receipts for January will be 7,000 plus 8,454, and that will give me a total of 15,454. Then we have February 8,400 plus 5,997 plus 20,000, and it will give me total receipts worth 34,397. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to move on to the payments section. How money will be leaving the business's bank account within the months of January and February. Now remember, stock purchases are all on credit, and they are saying that we pay our suppliers 30 days later. So if I take 21,000 Rand stock on credit in December, it will mean that I will be paying that 21,000 Rand in January. And yes, January is my budgeted period, so I have to take it into account. And there is my cash payments to creditors. I'm paying that 21,000 in January. Now I need to go and look how much credit I have purchased on credit in the month of January from my creditors. As you can see, here's January stock purchases. We purchased worth 8,500. When will I be paying this? 30 days later, and that will fall in February. So I'll be paying that 8,000 Rand in 8,500 in Feb. Okay, so we have taken the 6 into account. Sorry about that. And we've also taken the suppliers allow credit. The next adjustment number 4, is saying that general expenses and rent are normally paid in the month in which they occur. This was not the case at the end of December. Why? So I'm taking you up to our opening balances over here. We had general expenses that was not paid as yet, and we also had rent that was prepaid. All right. So if rent was already prepaid for January, that means January we will not be paying rent. This rent was paid in December for January. All right, so let's go to our rent. You'll see rent 1, it was prepaid, so we are not going to be expecting to pay our rent in January because we paid already in December. Double. And then from February onwards, we will be then expecting to pay 2,875, and there's the 2,875. Moving along to general expenses, what is the expected payment for general expenses in January? It is the 1,999. And remember, you are still owing the 1,300, so I'm adding 1,300, and you should get a total worth 3,290. All right. And then from February onwards, you will be paying what is expected of you, 2,770, which we have over there. Okay. Now remember, you still have salary that is not taken into account. We're paying salaries in January and February, and we have to take it into account. 6,600 plus 6,600 in Feb. What we're going to do now is we're going to tally up the monthly payments for the respective months. 21,000 plus 6,600 plus 3,290 gives me total payments worth 30,890. I'll do the same for Feb. 8,500 plus 6,600 plus 2,875, 2,770 gives me total payments for February 20,745. All right. So now we can work out whether or not we have a cash surplus or a cash deficit. So how will I work this out? I'm going to take A and I'm going to subtract B. All right? And it will give me either a cash surplus or a cash shortfall. As you can see, for the month of January, our incomes, our receipts were much less than our payments. Our payments were more than our incomes. All right. Payments were more than the incomes. So 15,454 subtract 30,890, it will give us a negative 15,436. Remember, I had an opening balance. Here is it. The closing balance for the 31st of December will be our opening balance in January, 13,900. And remember this little point over here, they're saying that Maggie's has an overdraft facility. So it's saying that yes, this account can go into a negative. All right, the permission has been granted. We have negotiated the overdraft facility to go in a negative balance. So yes, we have a negative closing bank balance. And remember, your closing balance of a month in January will be the opening balance in the month of February. And that's where we got that. How did I get my cash surplus? I took my total receipts and I subtracted my total payments, and it gave me a balance worth a cash surplus of 13,652 Rand. I subtracted my opening balance, which was the overdraft of 1,536, and I've closed my bank balance this month on a total of 12,116 Rand. All right. With this being said, grade 11s, please complete task 10.16. Remember the previous theory tasks? All of the activities are on your schedule for week 2. Thank you. If you do have any misconceptions, please feel free to WhatsApp me on our accounting WhatsApp group. Thank you.